In this video, I'm going to walk through what you will be accomplishing with your episode 3 homework, which is to create a website that promotes and reviews 3 different museum exhibits. So there's a lot of elements in this, and the first thing I've done, of course, is to read all the background reading and to review the lecture notes. Having done all of that, I also carefully studied the project requirements. I made myself a copy of the grading rubric so I can keep track of what it is I'm required to do. And then after I looked at the grading rubric, I came up with a plan, which is in my 6 points here on this slide. And in that plan, I tried to make sure that I covered all the requirements in the grading rubric, but wasn't just painting by numbers, that I tried to take into account concepts, themes, and techniques that were presented in the lecture so that I could really, hit it out of the park on this assignment. I'm going to be doing kind of a truncated or compressed version of the project, and so I won't do everything in the same kind of depth that you will, but I think this will give you a good idea of how to go about the project. So the first thing that I needed to do was to select 3 exhibits to present, and I'm not going to take up your time sharing my whole process of finding these exhibits. They were things I had heard about, things I read about. I Googled some museums that I really like and follow. I had been reading about the upcoming Jacob Lawrence exhibit at the Met, so that's included. I went to my hometown museum, the Oakland Museum, and I love that museum. I love that size museum. It and the Brooklyn Museum, very similar, but we won't go into that in a lot of depth. Dorothea Lange seemed like a good time to revisit some of her work. You may have seen some of her classic stuff detailing poverty in America in her time. So that's my second exhibit. And of course, we're in Brooklyn, so I wanted to check out the Brooklyn Museum. Again, accessible. I love that museum. Always feel comfortable there. And I picked one of their exhibits to include. So that was kind of a very fun and non-technical part of the assignment. Got it. Now on to step 2. Include 3 paragraphs describing each exhibit in your own words. Well, that you're going to have to compose on your own, and I'm going to just use placeholder text to cover that. Next, I have to start setting up my HTML page. So we're into episode 3 of the class now. There wasn't any need for the instructor to explain how to set up a web page. We covered that in lessons 1 and 2. So I know how to do that. I'm going to set that up. I'm going to add the basic text that I need, and then we'll take it from there on the links. So let me get that page started, and step 1 is to go into Visual Studio Code. This file was supposed to be called exhibits. I'm going to save it in the folder that I'm using for my class projects, and I'll just call it, I actually have, I think, a different one on my desktop. Important to keep these straight so that you can upload everything. Yeah, this is my smaller one for this class. And all lowercase, oops, not all higher case, exhibits.html, of course. And I'll save that file. And then I'm going to jump over to our most applicable resource, W3 Schools. I'm sure I've got that open. And get the basic text. Well, we're not quite ready for the hyperlinks text yet, so I want to just go to W3 Schools homepage where I can get basic HTML. And very handy that they've got this on the homepage. I can copy it. It gives me a start, and I'm going to paste it in. Because I've saved this as an HTML file. I get color coding, and that's helpful so that if I have an error, like, let's see, then I'm going to get a color coding to indicate that I made an error either in typing or copying and pasting code. So here's my basic message. I'm going to have an appropriate title. I know that in my head element, I will later want to have some embedded styling. So I'm going to put an open and closed style tag. Just have that ready. I'm saving periodically. And then in the body, I know I'm going to want an H1 for selected exhibits. And the instructions, I'm not going to pop back to them. I remember them, but there was supposed to be H3 headings for each of the 3 exhibits. So I'm going to create a placeholder version. And I could have probably put the paragraph text inside that placeholder and save myself a little time. There were supposed to be, what was it, 2 or 3 paragraphs? I think it was a 3-paragraph description of each exhibit. So I'll make sure I've got those in place with placeholder text. And when we go back, check in on my requirements. So I'm setting up for the 3 paragraphs. Now I'm going to actually have the links that I need even before I define them as links. So, or better put, I'm going to create my link text. So right under selected exhibits, I'm going to just have a paragraph text, and I'll have a link to exhibit 1. And I use this vertical bar sometimes to create very simple, very simply styled, actually that's 2, exhibit 2. A very simply styled menu bar. And then I know that at the end of each exhibit, I'm going to want a link back to the top of the page. And I'm gonna just leave that in for placeholder text now. And I don't have any styling yet, but let me get a copy of this open in a browser. And I want to take advantage of the fact that I've got 3 browsers, so I think Firefox will be a nice one to preview this in. So file, open file, and let's go to my class folder and see what the very bare bones exhibits looks like. So this looks like a very rough sketch. I see I could do a little better with the spacing on my exhibit bar here. Save that and go back to Firefox and refresh. Okay, well, it's completely devoid of style. Exhibits. Did I spell exhibits right? I want to check that. Let's see. Okay, I got that right. I have the, I'm not a spelling teacher for good reason. Okay, so now I think I've got my basic structure set up. Next step, I'm going to fill in the content. So I'm going to go grab the careful descriptions of everything I'm doing. So this is at the Metropolitan Museum of Art. I want to get that correct. I don't see a nice way to copy and paste the American struggle, but I hate it when they don't have, oh, there we go. Okay, so this is the exhibit. Jacob Lawrence, The American Struggle, and I'll paste that in as my first exhibit. I think I can just say at the Metropolitan Museum of Art. I'll double check and make sure I got that accurate. And then these links can be a little shorter, so I'll just do Jacob Lawrence here. Okay, let me go get my second exhibit. I think I'm done with this one. And this will be Dorothea Lange. And the name of that exhibit is 5 Rare Dorothea Lange Photos. And then I've got one more to do. Got that one done. Jacob Lawrence. Uh-oh, did I close the wrong one? I think I did. So I had Jacob Lawrence. I don't think I got the Brooklyn. The Brooklyn Museum disappeared, so I closed it by accident. Easy enough to find it again. And where's that colorful exhibits, events? Yeah, okay, on view. There we go. Jeffrey Gibson, When Fire is Applied to Stone. That's the full name of the exhibit. So I'm going to put that down here. And I'll just do Jeffrey Gibson in the navigation. So we'll keep that a little cleaner and simpler, shorter. Save. Let me take a look at how this is looking. Okay, so we've got the links here. They're going to go down to the appropriate sections. We've got links back to the top. You know what I think I need? I think after each exhibit, after the 3 paragraphs, I think I need a link to see the exhibit. Visit the exhibit online. And I'll do that after each one. And this feels a little vacant or a little empty without an introductory paragraph. So I want to put a paragraph here that will be about this page. I think I'm actually going to make that a heading 3. And then we'll have a paragraph or so with just a description of what's going on here. You know, these are 3, oops, see a code that doesn't belong. Okay, on this page, you'll find brief reviews of 3 exhibits at museums that I am recommending, and then I'll fill that in with some more text. So let's take one more look at this before I start doing styling and before I start doing links. I think what I'm going to do first are the links, and now I wish I wouldn't have closed those pages because I'm going to need them for links, but I'll do the links first. So I'm going to go over to our friends at W3 Schools and again review the syntax for links. And when I'm at W3 Schools, I can always just search for links. And a lot of times I copy and paste links, but here I think I'm just going to study this and type it for myself. it's a better way to learn, and in this particular case, I think it's going to be just as simple. So the Jacob Lawrence, no, we're not ready for that yet. Okay, so first of all, visit the exhibit online. Okay, that's going to be ahref equals, and then a lot of times I'll just put xxx as a placeholder. I want this to open in a new browser window so I don't lose visitors who leave my site. So that will be, let me go check the syntax back at here. It's target equals blank. So that's the one that I want. Here's another way. Maybe I will just copy and paste this text. Yeah, so target equals blank, and then I close the open tag. Now this can get a little kind of hard to get used to, but after I close the open tag, I'm going to have a close link tag. And finally, let me go get the URL for that Jacob Lawrence exhibit, if I've still got that handy. I knew I shouldn't have closed these. At the mat. So that page I'm going to grab from the address bar, and Jacob Lawrence will be there. So that link is good. Opens in a new browser window. And I'll do another one. Oh, wait a minute. First of all, let me word wrap this. Okay, visit the exhibit online. Good. All right, let me do the Dorothy Lang one. ahref equals don't know what. Target equals blank. By the way, these are parameters for, so this is the tag. A stands for anchor, but we really means link. The href is the URL that the link is referring to. And so the property is written like this, and the value is written like this. Same thing with target or any other parameters that you might want to include. So let me go grab the link for the Dorothy Lang exhibit. Oh, that's the title of it. Okay. So I've got the URL for that. And actually, instead of this inaccurate title, I want to get this, I like this title better. Okay, and finally, I've got the Jeffrey Gibson exhibit at our very own Brooklyn Museum. And that's here. So I'll grab this URL and ahref equals the URL. This time I didn't have to do the XXX thing. The target equals blank again so that we don't lose visitors. I'm going to close the open A tag, then comes the text. You can go back to the lecture or you can study the W3 Schools materials or both to get a feel for how all this works. And let me test this now. So go into Firefox where I'm testing this, refresh, and oh, I see I've got an extra thing there, so I'll fix that. But the links do seem to be going to the proper exhibits. And there's a problem here that looks like the Visit the Museum online didn't get closed properly for Dorothea Lange. So I got a couple problems I've identified. The Visit the Exhibit online in Jacob Lawrence has an extra something. Jacob Lawrence. Okay, there's the extra, whatever that character is, so I got that fixed. And then I didn't properly close the link to the Dorothea Lange one, so I don't have a close link tag. Now let's give things another try. All right, everything looks cleaned up now. Make sure the Jeffrey Gibson link works. It does. And note that they are opening in two browser windows like they're supposed to. Okay, the last structural piece I need to put in place is I need to have an ID that will take people to the top of the page. So ID equals top. And then for these links, I can do ahref equals hashtag top because that's where it's going. Close quote. Close quote. There we go. And close the open A tag. And then close this top tag. And since all the top links go to the same place, I can leave them alone. Although I think I had, let's see, the top's supposed to go underneath the link to the exhibit. Okay, well, let me test the structure again. And you see my workflow here. Test, 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 test. After everything I do, I test. So someone's down here, they can jump up to the top. Someone's down here, they can jump up to the top. Good enough. Now I just need to link from these sections to the section headings. So I need to assign IDs to these headings. So Jacob Lawrence is going to be ID equals Jacob. No hashtag here. Dorothea is going to be ID equals Dorothea. And a parameter for the Jeffrey Gibson one is going to be ID equals JEFFREY. Keeping everything lowercase. Pretty much everything in HTML, unless you're spelling a name or something like this, should be in lowercase. So I'm going to have a link here, ahref equals hashtag Jacob. And then I'll close that link after Jacob's name. This one is going to be this is going to be interesting. Okay. Ahref equals Dorothea. Why did I say this is going to be interesting? Just because I've got several links in the same line, which you can get away with. We looked at some of this in the lecture, I believe, or at least you explored some of it in lab. That Dorothea code doesn't looks a little weird. No, I think it's okay. We'll soon find out. And this is a href equals Jeffrey. Oops, left off the A. And get rid of that generated thing. And close this. Save it. Let's test these links. Jacob Lawrence doesn't go far, but it takes people there. Dorothea Lang. Oops, I got that one wrong. It looks like I left out the hashtag on Dorothea. Let's check that code. Yep, sure enough, and Jeffrey as well. So let's save and then check Dorothea and Jeffrey. Dorothea's goes, well, pretty close to her. Jeffrey's goes down there. Yeah, this will be more useful when I actually fill this in with paragraph text. Now, I'm not going to compose the descriptions for the exhibits. That's something that I'm just going to leave to you, and I know you're going to do a really good job. What I'm going to do is just pop in some placeholder text, which might be my next stop anyway. Let me see, where do I have that open anywhere? Well, I'll just use some ipsum lorem. So I'll go to ipsumlorem.com. This is placeholder text. We use this in all kinds of design, print design as well. And I'm going to generate 3 paragraphs. And grab each one of them and put them in one of the sample paragraphs. And one more paragraph. Whoops, this paragraph. And just because to save time, I'm not going to do a unique ipsum lorem for each exhibit. I'm just going to have single set of ipsum lorem text for each exhibit, or use the same one. Of course, you will be filling this in with real text, not plagiarized, but your own impressions of the exhibits that you're presenting. So let's see how this is. Now I think I've got all the HTML I need. The exhibits can be visited online. They open up in new browser tabs. People can jump to the top. They can jump to any particular exhibit. We're ready for styling now. So I'm anxious to get to that because that's kind of the fun part. And I don't think I'll bother to go over to W3 Schools and look up the styling. We've been styling for a week now. I think you might be familiar with it, and if not, you've got easy access to W3 Schools. So I'm going to do styling for the body tag. That's going to be the whole page. I'm going to do styling for the H1 tag. And I'm going to be styling, I don't think I need styling for the paragraph tag. I do have heading 3s here, so I might need some styling for that. And then I need styling for links. So I've got my regular link, I've got my visited link. And just to see if everything works, I'm going to do some crazy coloring just to make sure that I've got my syntax right. Background pink. I do heading 1, color green. Heading 3, color purple. The links are going to be color, I've used them all up now. Aqua. And I'm going to add decoration none. That gets rid of the default underlining. For visited links, aqua. Oh, I didn't do a color aqua, decoration none. Okay, and for visited links, it's gonna be color. I'm really running out of colors now. What do we got left? Blue, violet. Decoration none. And finally, for the hovered link, I'm going to do decoration underline so that the links will show up in underlining. Now, these aren't the colors that I'm choosing for my color scheme or for my font, but I'm just going to font family sans serif. Okay, let's see how this looks. And again, there's no aesthetics here. I just want to make sure that my styling's been applied. So looks like the styling's working, except the that text decoration none. I tried to do the code by heart without going to W3 schools, and it's not decoration. I'm pretty sure it's text decoration. Let's see how that works. Yeah, that lost the underlining until it's hovered over. And for a visited exhibit, let's see. So now we visited the exhibit, and well, I don't have my color that distinct. So the visited and the non-visited. Let me make the visited really different. Ouch. Okay, that's flunks both aesthetics and accessibility, but it means my colors are working. So I'm going to move through the color scheming kind of quickly because we've done that in previous labs. But I'm at the color wheel and I'm thinking this is a background, this is header text, this is regular text, and then my links can be kind of brownish. So this is going to be my background color. By the way, I tested all this in the color contrast calculator. I took my weakest link, my lowest contrast color scheme. This is my background, so I just tested everything against it, and everything came out at least green. Most of my stuff is red, so it's all very accessible. So let me go with the colors that I came up with in the color contrast. I mean at Adobe Color, and here we are for that. So this is my background. Let's see how this is coming along. Well, that improved things already. This is going to be my heading text. So I'm going to make that the color for both my H1 and my H3 links. Okay, then this is going to be my body color. So I got a background color, I got a font family I'll add a color. Never hurts to keep checking. Let's see how this is coming along. So there's everything's colored now except for the links. I've got the darker color for the heading and a little bit lighter color for font. And H1 and H3 are the same. Okay. All right, let me do my link colors, getting near the end here. So this is going to be I think this should be my basic link color because it's darker. So that's going to be not aqua, but this color. And then my visited link will be a little lighter color. And I don't need to change the color for the hover link. So let's see how this is looking now. Okay, links throughout the page, back to the top. And I think things are looking pretty solid. Now, just for fun and as something as a bonus, I'm going to throw in a few things completely off script, but, you know, got to do it just for fun. So for the body tag, I'm going to add a width of 80%, a minimum width of 320 pixels so that in phones it takes the full screen. I'm going to add margin auto so that it's centered within the page. I'm going to add line spacing because they never give you enough. 1.4 is the same as 140%. Let's see how that did to just kind of make this look a little more clean and professional. So now it's aired out, now it's spaced, now I think it looks, I mean, obviously it'd be nice to have pictures, but we're going to do that next week. So I think everything's set here. Have fun, do it your way. Wait a minute, one more bonus thing that I had forgotten. So I've saved my work here, and my next step, and this is going to be purposely a little controversial or whatever, but I'm going to try and upload this to 00 web host. Now, we've all been having problems with 000 web host periodically. This error, by the way, and we can discuss this maybe after the lab, make a little note to ask me about it if you're interested, but Cloudflare protects sites from denial of service attacks. I think everyone's aware, vaguely at least, that there's just, you know, it's wild, wild west out there on the internet. Every site has been hacked. Every site gets subjected to attacks to knock it off the air from who knows who, really. It's almost impossible to get to the bottom of who's behind these attacks or where they're coming from. In this case, it looks like the problem is the W3 schools is under attack. And when I try and log in, and I've been trying to log in for hours, by the way. So I'm just keeping at it, being patient, setting aside plenty of time, giving myself like hours to upload. And finally, after being on hold, so to speak, for several hours, I see that I can get into the file manager, and I'm going to hang in there. Remember, everything's got to go into public HTML, and I'm going to upload the files and its exhibits, and I'm uploading it. Then, very, very, very importantly, I've emphasized over and over again, the last thing you want to do in the world, almost, is submit an inaccurate URL when you're submitting a project. So I'm clicking on this. This is it on the internet, and I'm going to copy it And I think you can take it from here as far as submitting the assignment with your narrative. You guys all seem to pretty much have that under control. If you don't, get in touch with me. Heck, I'll do it. So let me get myself into, I've got so many things open now. Let me see if I can find, no, we'll just go to Blackboard. And I will log in here. Find the right class, of course. And get to the content. Go to project 3. Find the place to submit it. So in comments, I can just go, here's my URL. And I tested it, so don't worry, it works. And just to fake some narrative, you will write a narrative. The narrative is worth a lot of points on this assignment. And I'm getting increasingly insistent on really substantial professional ones. So that's not one, that's just placeholder text, but I'm going to submit it. Okay, so, I fast forwarded in time through some of these things. I shortcutted a few of the things that you're going to be thinking about, like your exhibit descriptions and your narrative. I fast forwarded in time. I was on hold for 3,842 hours with 000 website. I'm being hyperbolic. It was more like 3 hours, but finally got through when that denial of service attack was deflected by Cloudflare and the site opened back up. And now the instructor can just grab my URL and go to it and find and grade my assignment. So I hope you have fun with this one. And it's hard work, but I think you'll find it rewarding and you'll learn a lot, and it's a very professional type project with a lot of skills that you'll actually use in the real world. So that's it. That wraps up lab, and of course we'll have questions next.